Moving on now, a group of over 600 lawyers, including prominent figures such as senior advocate Harish Salve and others, has penned a letter to the Chief Justice of India expressing deep concerns regarding attempts to erode the integrity of the judiciary. This concerted effort aims to manipulate judicial proceedings, particularly in cases involving politicians and allegations of corruption. This is what viewers the letter states. The lawyers there outlined various alarming tactics employed by this group, including the dissemination of false narratives about a purported golden era of the judiciary, with the intent to discredit ongoing legal processes and sow doubt in the minds of the public. Accusations include bench fixing, disrespectful comparisons of the domestic courts to those in lawless regimes, and direct attacks on judges' honor. The group of lawyers in the letter has, in fact, said that tactics employed by the interest group involved selective criticism or praise of court decisions based on their political agenda, described as a my way or the highway approach. Moreover, the lawyers highlighted instances of political flip-flopping where politicians oscillate between levelling corruption allegations and defending individuals in court, as well as the dissemination of misinformation to sway judicial appointments and outcomes. The lawyers urged the Chief Justice of India to take proactive measures to safeguard the reputation of the bench and call upon the legal community to stand united in support of one of the cornerstones of democracy. Now, who better, in fact, than my colleague Ashok Bagaria, who is the legal editor News9. He joins us here to give us the details of the letter. Ashok, of course, the letter is very detailed. You know, a group of lawyers have written this to the CJI regarding alleged threats to the judiciary. The letter states that there is a lobby attempting to pressure the judiciary. Take us through the details of the letter.
Well, firstly, let me tell you that this letter has been written by a group of senior and junior advocates. They are 600 in number, include the former Solicitor General of India, Mr. Harish Salve, the Bar Council of India Chairperson, Manan Kumar Mishra, the Supreme Court Bar Association President, Adish Agarwala, senior advocates from the Supreme Court. Now, all these 600 advocates have come together on a common platform, written a letter to the Chief Justice of India highlighting a few things on which they said that we have serious concerns with the manner in which a particular vested interest group is trying to defame the judiciary. They are trying to influence the judicial outcomes, particularly in cases which involve politicians, and there are also allegations that this not just attacks the democratic fabric of the country, but also the trust people place in the judicial process. Now, another significant thing that this letter points out is that it does not specify, what is that vested group, but there is an attempt to say that there are some lawyers who during the daytime appear in the courtroom, defend these politicians who are facing corruption charges, and in the evening they take part in televised debates and try to influence the judge's mind in which the case should proceed. Another very serious allegation which has been levelled is pertaining to bench fixing. The letter says that this vested group says that there is this phenomena of bench fixing which is happening in various courts. Now, bench fixing is something which is very peculiar to the judicial system in this country, where a particular kind of cases go before a particular judge who is known to dispose the cases in favor of the government. So, this letter says that this vested group is also creating a false narrative that bench fixing is happening in the courts, cases are going to one particular bench and which are being disposed in a particular manner. So, these are all very serious allegations which have been levelled by this letter by these 600 advocates across the country, and they have told the Supreme Court of India and the judges of the Supreme Court of India, saying that this is these are very strange times and the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court judges should stand strong and take some action to put this vested interest in their place.
Right, Ashok, there are many points that, as you rightly said, which have been mentioned in the letter. But there's one point that I wanted to discuss with you. They say that there is a clear my way or the highway approach at work. Any decision that they agree with is hailed, but any decision that they disagree with is trashed, smeared, and disregarded.
Well, it looks clearly a reference here is being made to the recent judgment of the Supreme Court of India with respect to electoral bonds, where lawyers who appeared in this case, who appeared for the quashing of the electoral bond scheme, when this particular judgment was pronounced by the Supreme Court, they actually on the social media platform, television debates and newspaper articles, they hailed this verdict, saying that the Supreme Court has actually shown some spine and shown the government of India its place. So this is an act of hailing the Supreme Court. But there have been instances in the past where Supreme Court has refused to pass judgments which this vested interest group would have wanted, especially with respect to, let's say, the abrogation of Article 370. Then we have bail matters or criminal cases pertaining to politicians who are involved in PMLA Act, PMLA money laundering cases and corruption cases. So basically what is being said by the way of this letter by these 600 advocates is that this vested interest is basically adopting an approach which is called either my way or the highway approach, and they are resorting to tactics where they hail one particular set of judgments delivered by the courts and tear apart judgments which do not or are not in sync with the ideology or the cases they want to be decided in a particular manner. So, but all in all, Neha, what is really happening is this is a very significant, this particular letter has been written at a very significant point in time where the courts across the country, including the high courts, lower courts and the Supreme Court of India, are dealing with corruption and money laundering cases in which very senior politicians are involved, which include the Delhi Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, the former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, then again K. Kavita, who is an MLA from Telangana and is also the daughter of KCR, the former Chief Minister of Telangana. So it looks, this letter tries to say that an attempt is being made by this vested group, not just to create a false narrative, but also malign the image of the judiciary in the eyes of the people.
Right, and Ashok, interestingly enough, now there's another timing, there's another point that has been mentioned in the letter, which is that the timing of their modus operandi also merits closer scrutiny. They do it at very strategic timings when the nation is all set to head into elections. Now, Ashok, this also comes in the backdrop of Kejriwal's arrest at a time, like you mentioned, when the opposition is raising concerns over various issues.
Yeah. So, what this letter is saying is that there are two ways of looking at it. One way of looking at it is that the letter itself comes at a very suspect point on time. And they are, the lawyers are also alleging that there is another group of lawyers, they are not naming them, they are saying that there is another group of lawyers who are, raising this issue around, by casting aspersions on judicial integrity, bench fixing and creating a narrative in the minds of the people which will ultimately end up influencing the voter behavior. Now, they say that this particular vested group is raising this issue at a strategic point in time because understand, Neha, that this country is on the verge of, or rather I should say on the threshold of electing the 18th Lok Sabha, in which Mr. Narendra Modi is going to the polls for seeking a third term for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And in the last few years, what we have seen is that the government has come under very close scrutiny and for its economic policies, for its development works, and also more so the government of India has been criticized for using investigative agencies for witch hunting and for political gains. Now, what we have seen in the past, especially in the last 1 year, is that the government of India's agency, premier investigating agency, which looks into money laundering cases, they have lodged cases against very prominent politicians. As I pointed out earlier, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on March 21st was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, he was arrested, he was sent to Enforcement Directorate's custody. Today his custody gets over, he'll be produced before the magistrates court again. The second I pointed out was with respect to K. Kavita. Again, she's involved in the liquor policy scam in the national capital, and she's an MLA from Telangana. She's also the daughter of the former Chief Minister of Telangana. Then we have the case of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, who himself is accused in a corruption case. And on all of these things, the unleashing of the Enforcement Directorate on other political parties is being witnessed in this country, and the government of India has come in for very sharp criticism, not just from the opposition parties, but also people who are not in sync with the ideology of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Right. Ashok, is this the first incident, or have there been similar incidents in the past where lawyers have written to the CJI on such matters?
Well, it's definitely not the first time. In the past also such letters have been shot off to the Chief Justice of India expressing concerns over the way the courts are functioning in the country. There have also been a mix mash of legal issues and political issues. So in the past we have witnessed that such letters have been written to the Chief Justice of India. But let me also point out, Neha, at this point in time, that not much has come out of these letters. These are just written to the Chief Justice of India, distributed to the media, where the media publishes them. And you know, this particular letter also, its publication comes at a very important point in time, where this group of lawyers is saying that the Supreme Court judges and the Supreme Court should stand up to this vested group and send out a strong message.
Exactly, and especially at a time, you know, when they've written that the timing of their modus operandi also merits closer scrutiny. You know, they do it at very strategic timings when the nation is all set to head into elections. Now, this letter has also come at a time when we are, you know, moving closer towards the Lok Sabha elections. Thank you very much, Ashok, for joining us.